Well, hello there, all you absolutely magnificent people, and welcome back to another episode of An Ecologist Plays, the channel where we get to talk about nature while playing games. And we are back in this amazing game, Empires of the Undergrowth, where we are playing as a colony of a little fictional ant species, the Formica ereptor. And as you can see here, in between the previous episode and today, I have expanded a little bit. We do have two largish brood chambers of the wood ants, the ranged wood ants, the rapid fire ones to be precise, and then we also have the normal Formica, the Malay chamber right over here. But there is something missing right here, and we are going to address that today. Because we have got the harvest right over here, where we are going to be playing as the Leafcutter ants in South or Central America. And I do believe we are somewhere in South America. So let's jump right in, shall we? Now the important question now is, do we go for taunt or stun? I do like stun. I know a lot of players do love taunt, but I love stun. For some reason, stun just, it draws me. So I'm going to choose stun, and let's see how it goes. Alrighty, here we are.
This young queen has successfully raised her first daughters beneath the leaf litter of the rainforest floor. The nutritious fungus she fed them as larvae is now dwindling. If they don't find food quickly, they will all starve. The juicy grubs nearby are a staple meal for many underground opportunists, but for now at least, they will go ignored. This budding Atta cephalotes leafcutter colony has only one viable source of food, and it must be collected above ground.
Alright, so here we go. We have excavated our first chamber here. We have got woodworm here, but we don't use them. We don't use them at all. Instead, we are going to dig directly to the surface because what we need is right up there. Now, we're all called leafcutter ants after all, and that's because, well, we will be cutting a whole bunch of leaves. So, let's start.
A small scouting party of minor workers could lead any number of deadly jungle creatures back to their undefended queen. They will need time and luck on their side.
Yeah, so a little fledgling colony like this, as we have seen with the two Formica species, they are very, very susceptible to potentially dying out. Oh, I just realized now they're not doing anything because, yeah, we don't have any drop-off points for leaves. I guess we should address that, eh?
The workers have located a patch of young seedlings. Just what they were looking for.
Yes.
The leaves are soft enough to be sliced up with ease and carried back to the nest.
Yeah, so you wouldn't be targeting all leaves. You would go for softish leaves. You wouldn't go for what we call sclerophilous leaves, or leaves that are hardened. Sclerophily is a mechanism to actually reduce herbivory.
Chunks are not eaten directly. Instead, they are used by the very smallest minim workers to cultivate a nutritious fungus. Over time, waste builds up in the fungus gardens, and if left unchecked, it can attract necrotrophic parasites. To deal with this problem, Atta cephalotes dig out subterranean waste heaps, preferably as far as possible from the healthy nursery chambers.
Alright, so there we go. We're just going to dig out a tunnel over here, and this is where we are going to have our waste disposal section. And hopefully we don't dig out anything that we don't want over here. I don't... Well, maybe up here.
Outside the nest have not gone unnoticed. They are being watched.
Alright, we are just going to actually increase this waste chamber right over here. At the top here we do have the food that we have available. We've got empty space, I think this one. Yeah, space for cultivating fungus, and then we have the amount of waste that is available, that has accumulated.
A brightly patterned jumping spider, Casviri purpureus, has subdued one of the workers. This expert solo hunter combines extreme agility with incredible forward vision, allowing it to pounce on unsuspecting prey with pinpoint accuracy.
One of the best eyesights in the spider world, the jumping spider that we had right over here somewhere. Oh, there we go. Something that is so brightly colored is hiding very, very well. There it is, running around. So spiders that don't use webs, like the jumping spiders here, they generally have excellent vision because they rely on vision to judge distance and then to actually catch their prey. Whereas things like the orb weavers, which rely on webs to actually catch their food, well, they don't need good vision because they just wait until something blindly stumbles upon their web, and then they can eat them.
The most accessible leaves are located to the north of the nest entrance. However, another Atta colony has already laid claim to them. The close proximity of these nests places the two colonies in direct competition with one another. Time will tell which has the potential to grow into a great empire, and which will submit to the unforgiving law of the Undergrowth.
Right, so we've got some competition from the other Atta colony right up here, and you can see they've got some big ones already working for them. So we need to actually address that, and we do have enough fungus available to actually put down 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 of these ones. Now the thing is, you see, we've got a lot of waste that has built up, and we really need to actually address that. And the way we're going to address that is by actually excavating another chamber, but for just the minor workers, just to increase the amount of minimum workers we have. These little guys over here, their job is just to take care of the colony. The larger ones, they'll be going out and fighting and collecting leaves. But these teeny weeny little ones, the minims, they just collect little leaf chunks and they bring it down to wherever the brood chambers are. And then they actually just, cultivate it there. Basically have it broken down by fungi. And the fungus is what these guys are eating, what these Atta are eating. Now these fungi here would be specific species that they are actually cultivating. You can't just have any fungus growing in the Atta colony. These ants need a specific species to actually grow there. And unfortunately, yeah, waste is building up. You know what we're going to do? We're going to just quickly get rid of whatever this is, so we can put a whole bunch of little workers over here. But we've got fierce intra-specific competition with this colony up here. So they've got prime places to collect food. We are not in the best location to actually collect food, but we are going to go about this quite fiercely. Right, so...
A young velvet worm, Oroperipatis ecuadoriensis, has been uncovered by the ants. These ancient mysterious predators are masters of ambush.
Let's just actually jump into this because they are very weird looking, and I absolutely love them. I've only ever seen 2 velvet worms in my life, but you can see here some kind of weird little stubby feet. They do have that, and they've got these very characteristic ridges kind of running down the body that kind of makes them look like, worms, like earthworms and stuff, but they're not related at all. Instead, they do have legs, whereas earthworms do not have legs. But the interesting thing about these little guys is right up front here. They have the ability to not spit, but to produce silk, and then spray that at either prey or predators. If they, for example, are encountering something they can eat, like a little cricket, they will very quickly spray with basically 2 little nozzles in front there. They will spray the silk and trap the insect that they are trying to catch, and then they will go and bite it and basically kill it in the process. And at the same time, if they feel threatened, they will rear up on these little pseudopods over here, on these little legs at the back here, and then they also spray at whatever is threatening them. And in the case here of the ants or smallish predators, like spiders as well, you would be able to neutralize them. In the case of larger predators, it may just irritate them enough to let them go away. So these guys do prefer living in moist environments. They're not found in dry areas, because they do tend to dry out very quickly. Really an awesome creature, and I love the fact that they are in the game here.
They creep toward their unwitting victims silently on soft, hollow legs. Once in range, they squirt oscillating streams of slime, forming a wide net that entraps their prey.
So just to get back to the velvet worm over here, because they are such cool creatures, let's see. We've got these weird little legs, and I called them pseudopods a moment ago. They're informally called stub feet, but the actual scientific terms would be lobopods or oncopods. Now, the weird thing, and you can kind of see that here, they don't have any joints. If we look at the legs of our ants that are working here, you can see they are bendy. They've got specific points that they actually bend. These lobopods, on the other hand, have no bends, so they are not arthropods. They're not related to ants or spiders or anything like that. And also the fluid that they eject, it's not silk really, it's more a slime, a very sticky slime. Informally I call it silk, but it's actually more a slime. You can see there are 2 little nozzles right there and there. That is where they would be ejecting the sticky slime from. But these little legs here, because they don't have joints, they can bend at any place. But these little legs here will be moved and bent by a mixture of muscles and also the fluid in them. And I think that is just absolutely amazing. These guys are just awesome. The oldest fossil of them are known from the Carboniferous period. I think the late Carboniferous period. You know, when we had like griffin flies, those massive dragonfly relatives flying all over the place.
As the sun sets below the horizon, and the thick rainforest canopy shrouds all but the slightest glimmer of moonlight, The predators of the night begin to emerge.
So now things are going to become a little bit more difficult, more challenging, because, well, there are going to be lots and lots and lots of predators running around all over the place. Let's just again get our larger ants in here, because I want to quickly excavate this section over here. There we go. Oh, that's a rove beetle larva.
These rove beetle larvae are distant relatives of the European devil's coach horse. Despite a few million years of separation, they share the same carnivorous appetite, razor-sharp pincers, and most importantly, a fearsome final form.
So yeah, of course, as it says there, a rove beetle, and those devil's coach horse beetles, they were also, in fact, rove beetles. We're just going to put a nice little runway along here. And then in here, we are going to just put a few minor workers so that they can just do their thing around the colony. So we can send a whole bunch of the other ones. We can send this squad of 13. We can send them with the others to go collect leaves, and these ones will be specialized. These ones in this chamber will be specialized nest workers. Notice here the big one here, the medium worker, coming in with a massive leaf. The minor workers are just bringing smaller leaf chunks, but of course the media workers, they are much larger. They can carry larger fragments of leaves. Of course, once we have our majors, then they are going to be able to carry even larger fragments. But for now, I think building trails in the nest here would be a good strategy, enabling our minimum workers to just move around the place a little bit more quickly. Now, this relationship between the fungus and the ants is probably quite an ancient one. There seems to be evidence that the first time the ants actually domesticated fungi, and this is not these Atta species, but a previous group, it was shortly after the non-avian dinosaurs went extinct, with the cataclysmic event with the meteorite impact and all the bad things that happened after that. After the meteoritic impact, there was not a lot of food available. Plants battled because, well, sunlight was blocked out. But fungi, thriving on decomposition, they did well. And the ants had to switch over, most likely from feeding on plant matter or nectar or who knows what. They had to switch over to something that was readily available, and they started eating the fungus. And most likely they were already eating on some of it, but this is now the point where the relationship between the ants and their fungal gardens really took place. This was the first domestication event. But at that time, the ants were what we call facultative fungal farmers. They could survive on other things as well. Later on, when there was, I think it was in the Miocene period, if I'm not mistaken, there was a little bit more rainforest-like environments, and I think, yeah, we're running out of leaves. We really need a lot more ants because we are falling behind with our opponent. The first one to get to 10,000 actually wins. Basically, we'll be out-competing their opponents, so we really need to get to these ones to start working a little bit more quickly. We do have another jumping spider right over there, so we have got to look out for that. And no, it's avoiding. When there are lots of ants, they avoid it, and you know, they're smart, they've got good eyesight. They can see, oh no, I'm going to die over here if I try to attack any one of these. But it's looking, it's waiting for a straggler. It's waiting for one ant that is away from the rest of the ants and that they can easily predate on. Anyway, with the second event of domestication with the ants and their fungal gardens, that happened when the earth started drying out a little bit more, and the ants were forced to be in a more arid environment. And what happened then is that the fungi started also becoming more reliant on the ants, because in a dry environment, most fungi do not survive, and they were only really thriving in the nest of the ants. And this is now when we see the Atta emerging, these leafcutter ants emerging. And the fungi became so closely entwined with this group of ants, with the Attini ants, that they lack the ability to actually disperse themselves. Most fungi would of course produce some kind of reproductive structure, like mushrooms like this here, and then from there, usually below it, they will have gills or pores, and from there they will produce spores and release the spores. And with these ones over here, with these fungi that we have in the leafcutter ant colonies, well, they don't have the ability to do that. The only way they're able to disperse to a new area is when a new queen, like this one that established right over here, actually goes and starts a new colony.
One of the ants has fallen prey to a young leaf mimic praying mantis.
Well,
once in range, its long razor-clad forelegs can ensnare and impale victims with lightning speed.
I absolutely love mantids. like this little one over here. So of course the razor sharp claws that the narrator there referred to would be these raptorial claws. Raptorial referring to grasping, like a raptor is a bird that grasps their prey items. It can also mean thieving, like in Velociraptor for example. It means a rapid thief or speedy thief. But raptorial here referring to grasping. So these forelimbs here, the first set of legs, develop to actually grasp prey, so that they can have a good grip on it and then start biting into it with their mouth parts right over there. Oh, that's a pretty face. Being green in color, of course, hides the mantis from both the prey, the ants in this case, and the predators, birds and things like that, that would be in the area. This is generally a green environment, so green is a good color to be. Now we're just going to, I think, once we can actually upgrade the food storage here, the leaf storage. We are going to have to expand this a little bit as well, I think. The waste area we can also expand, I guess, a little bit. And then I think it is time for us to get some mages. Because the mages will really be able to defend all our little ants doing their thing, collecting the leaves, but also will be able to carry a lot more leaves.
Ants nearby, whilst the two Atta colonies joust for territory.
So there we've got trapjaw ants, and we could see that one jumping away right there. But these little guys, what they will do is they have, well, as it says there, it's in the name, it's trapjaw ants. So they have basically a little locking mechanism. They will walk around and they can actually open their jaws like completely to the sides here, their mandibles completely to the sides. And if they either want to catch something or they want to escape predation or predators or competition, they can actually very, very rapidly close their jaws. They have this locking mechanism and they release that locking mechanism and the jaws then shut forward. If it's shutting on a prey animal, it will be able to actually stun it or kill it, but if it wants to escape, it actually aims its head directly down and then just closes its mandibles and it shoots away from predators. Very good at escaping from things like antlions. So there we go, there are 3 trapjaw ants right here.
Odontomachus bowery trapjaws roam the clearing. They can be found hunting alone or in small packs for vulnerable invertebrates to take back to their nest. They use snapping jaws to bludgeon their targets, exerting 300 times their body weight in a single blow.
That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. You can see here we do have a lot of waste building up. These things here, that's quite bad. We do need to actually take these waste away.
Their first major ant. Its swollen head is filled with muscle to power its crushing jaws. Few stand against it in combat and escape unscathed. This
very
champion
big, very
warrior
strong.
Will make a fine addition to the colony.
But we do need a whole bunch of minimum workers as well, because we are struggling a little bit. So we're just going to put some minor workers down here so that we can get a lot more minimum workers as well, because they're going to help. As you can see here, they're going to carry all the waste to this area. Other ants, the minor workers, the media workers, and the major workers, whenever they go onto these tiles, they do get a debuff. They get poisoned, basically. This is waste. The minimum workers here, they don't battle with it. But this removal of waste to specific chambers is extremely important to try and limit disease outbreaks in the colony. Of course, when an individual of this colony also dies, they also will be taking them away, which is known as necrophoresis, which is the removal usually of nestmates, but sometimes also foreign dead individuals also away from the colony so that they don't have disease outbreaks. Like, for example, that very interesting fungus, the Ophiocordyceps, the cordyceps fungus that we have in Grounded and also in The Last of Us. That fungus can attack these ants, and it's very important then that once they realize that one of their nestmates has been infected, they need to take that nestmate as quickly as possible away from the colony. Otherwise, it's going to spread. Oh, there we go. Trapjaw ants attacking our major.
An ant has fallen prey to a wandering harvestman.
There we
its
go.
Long, slender legs keep its vulnerable body elevated high above the leaf litter, and when threatened, it can release strong-smelling odors to deter.
So here, we've got a very, very weird arachnid. This is a Harvestman. Oh, I love seeing the Harvestman, though. I mean, notice they've got a massive, swollen-like body and these tiny, tiny little mouth parts in the front. They're very, very long, spindly legs. Of course, they are also in some areas called daddy long legs. But we in South Africa, we call them Harvestmen, if we even see them. Most people would not even have seen or recognized that they are looking at something like this. But look at those teeny weeny little eyes. I am staring into your soul, little one. They're absolutely lovely. I absolutely adore Harvestmen. Of course, it is currently attacking our ants.
Deter other predators.
But there we go, we've got our larger ants coming in.
Drive this striding nuisance away.
Yeah, and telling it to go away. There we go, even a major is getting involved here. Now, the Harvestman here is in danger.
Defensive Leafcutter forces. The Harvestman decides to...
So, let's just see, can we even see him? Is he dead? I don't know, I think so. But it has most likely abandoned one of its legs. It has severed one of its legs as a defense mechanism.
And decides to make a swift exit.
But yeah, as a mechanism to try and escape, that one there most likely severed its one limb to try and distract the ants so that it could actually run away. However, we did swarm it, so it stood no chance whatsoever. Now, we really need to collect as many leaves as possible. And in order to help us do that, we are going to just quickly excavate another chamber over here. However, we don't have anything that can really deal with whatever is down here. So we are going to put in some more mages, and they should be able to deal with whatever is over here. Unfortunately, yeah, we really are... Oh, we're getting closer. We're only 700 leaves behind, so we can perhaps make this if we just do one massive push. There we go, 2 rove beetles, 2 larvae at least, but no match whatsoever. Great stuff. Let's actually dig out this section as well. I think let's actually come and clear this area so that we can expand this nest chamber as well. That was another velvet worm right over there, but it is most likely, yeah, there we go. I think it's dead. It's dead indeed. Okay, we are going to, I think, there we go, just get rid of this guy over here, the rove beetle larva. Thank you. And I think we're just going to quickly make a little tunnel through over here so that all our little minimum workers don't have to run all the way around. Come on. There we go. There are 2 rove beetles loose in the nest, but they're going to be no match for us. Let's make a little runway over here.
These leaves are contested. The leafcutters will generally not attack unless provoked.
Ooh.
But tonight there is too much at stake. Only a strong show of force will deter the opposing colony.
Alright, so the thing is, we're going to have a whole bunch of soldiers arriving on the scene here now, because we have now attacked the other Atta colony, and here they come. Here comes a whole bunch of them. There they go. Yeah, we don't want to actually do that. Alright, let's get back to work, shall we, because we've got a lot to do. Let's put down a whole bunch of media. So you can see here, of course, as our ants arrive here on the scene on this little seedling, they are munching at the leaves, and they're going for the softer bits. They're not going for the veins, the midrib and the lateral veins. They instead go for the softer pieces that will be broken down more easily by the fungus that we are farming. As you can see here, I have now expanded this brood chamber of minor workers, and the idea is just to throw a whole bunch of bodies, a whole bunch of minims around so that they can do a lot of work in the nest here, but also a lot of minor workers to go and collect leaves, just so we can get as many leaves as possible. I think it is time for us to head a little bit more to this direction again. This area is highly contested with the other colony, and we don't really want to lose a lot of individuals. It takes a lot of food to raise our individuals, and the colony here has to save the food to rather make more individuals than replace dead ones. Oh, there's a harvestman, there's a rove beetle larva, oh, there are a whole bunch of stuff. Now, this is, of course, where it's useful that we've got media workers, we've got major workers, we've got a variety of ones over here. We don't just have miners, because the miners are really not very good fighters. The majors, those are going to be the big fighters. Even the media will be able to maintain their position and attack these guys. So here we go. Harvestman is attacking. Now, they don't have venom, so they basically just have to bite until whatever they are trying to kill dies. And having a quick look at it, you can notice it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 legs. It has actually, there we go, we can see it on the side here. Zooming in here, you can see it has detached its one leg right there at the base. So that is what we call autotomy, which is the self-amputation that the harvestman over here will do. So it's lost about 60% of its health, and it decided to rather amputate its leg to try and escape. Similar to how a lizard would get rid of its tail to try and escape predation. However, it has not had enough of a fight, and now it is dead. There we go, that will teach you. What do we have over here? We've got Leafcutters over here as well. Ah, man. They are at all the prime spots. You know what we can do? We're going to set them as do not harvest, just for a moment. Then we're just going to come in, mess up these ants, and then once we have chased them all away from this area, we are going to very, very quickly harvest them. I know I did just say that it is important for us to maintain our numbers and not die.
The Leafcutters have clashed to
Well,
the northwest.
we are going to try and just quickly scare them away from this area, and then quickly grab what we can. So this is interference competition. I've talked about it before, where you compete with another individual or another group of individuals, and then that is in this case for resources. So we are trying to scare them away from this area and then get access to this resource before they respond with their mages. Now, I don't see any mages coming, so we may actually be alright. We do have the numbers. If we were forced, we could win any battle in that area. Yeah, but here come the ants in force. That's alright, we are going to chase them away again in a moment. This is our spot now. There we go.
The ants have subdued their rivals and achieved dominion over the clearing. As the competition withers, they will extend their territory in all directions, firmly establishing their agricultural empire. One day this colony will number in the millions.
Yes. Alright, now we are going to go for extra royal jelly. Going to be using that to upgrade our ants. And before we actually end, we have now officially won. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to raid the enemies. They've done that to us. Look at that. They're coming into our nest. That's just evil. Okay. That's fine. You know what? We're going to have a whole bunch of ones here. I can't believe they did what I wanted to do to them. But here we go. Our colony is arriving in mass. And I think we have... Yeah, we've defeated all of them. Now, it's time for a counterattack, isn't it? So as was mentioned by the narrator earlier, they may not necessarily actually be fierce towards one another. Initially, at least, they can just, test the waters to see how the others are. Are they friendly? Friendly in inverted commas here. They're not like, hello there, my old friend. I haven't seen you in ages. But here comes a whole bunch more. Oh, I'm not sure whether we'd be able to defeat that bunch. Yeah, but they are responding to something. I don't know what. But since they are now gone, it is time for us to sneak in. Oh, you know where they're going? They're going to where we terrorize them with the leaves over here. They're going, there's a threat. We must respond there. It took a while for the message to get through to the colony that, listen, we're under attack over there. You must respond. So we are now going to use that opportunity to actually go straight into their nest and see if we can wipe them out. Then we will really have access to all the leaves in this area. And there's their queen. Oh, yes. You can see they've got level 3 mages. Level 3 major right over there. We haven't upgraded any of our ants, unfortunately. We're just coming in numbers rather than upgraded individuals. And look at them, they're all coming now. I don't think this was a wise choice. If we, however, can just get to the queen, but I don't think we will be able to. I think they actually have more than enough. Yeah, they've got massive. They've got a bunch of brood chambers. They don't have any upgraded trails, though. But yeah, maybe we can actually push ahead. We've got the numbers. Yeah, I think we may actually be able to do this. So this is now a really, really fierce competition between the members of the same species. Intra-specific competition. However, I think our forces... our forces are struggling over there. And over here, we have kind of been surrounded. There are lots of ants. I don't know which ones are mine and which ones are not. Our food sources are also dwindling. But come on, guys. We want to defeat the queen. In some species, when you have a low abundance food that is highly valuable, they will fight to the death. Now, in Leafcutters, I don't think it really happens that way. I think we have actually just, lost. I think let's just call that. That was an unsuccessful raid. Unfortunately, we have lost a bunch of individuals and we are in the enemy territory. We cannot survive over there. Unfortunately, I think we have now died. The problem is that they are now going to counterattack again. You see, here are our ants, and then I think, well, they haven't come out yet. And they're going to. I'm pretty sure they're going to come. But with things like certain species of honeypot ants, for example, where they are feeding on a resource that is in low supply but predictable, they will go and wipe out any territory, any colony in their territory. These guys, however, there's a superabundance of leaves. They rarely have a reason to fight. Maybe during the drier season, they may be fighting a little bit more. There may be more intra-specific competition, but usually, nah, it's not too much of a problem. Anyway, it was fun to go and see whether we can attack and kill these guys, and unfortunately, we were unable to. We should have upgraded our soldiers first and then did it, but I wanted to see whether we can. So, yeah, we did. We tried. But that, of course, is where we are going to, I think that is because we have beaten them. I think we can just say quit to Formicarium. Yes. Okay, there we go. And here we are back.
How is the colony progressing?
The Queen is exhibiting interesting new behaviors. I believe the colony is beginning to adapt.
Yes, we are indeed starting to adapt. And the way we are going to adapt now is to have a chamber right over here. There we go, like that, in which we can put these guys, our Atta cephalotes mages, so the Leafcutters. Are we going again? I think let's go for stun. I love stun. And we're going to, of course, grab level 2 and 3 while we are at it as well. But yeah, they are very, very expensive, but I think they are going to be absolutely worth it. These guys are going to be our main tanks. They're mainly going to be there to hold the line while our Formica rufus attack with a ranged spray of formic acid. So the fungus that we have growing here in our leafcutter ant colony, these form what we call gongolidia, which form clusters known as staphylae. That's basically what we can see here. And that's basically a cluster of the mycelial network of the body, or the hyphal threads, the body of the fungus that these ants are growing, that these leafcutter ants are growing. Now, the leafcutters can also eat the main fungal threads, the hyphae, and that is richer in proteins, if I'm not mistaken. But these gongolidia, the staphylae, these clusters, are richer in lipids and carbohydrates. So they can get a nice balanced diet by eating a mixture of the bunch. But they really, really are after the carbs and the lipids that are contained in these staphylae over here, in these weird little clusters. I think that's actually where we are going to be calling it a day, everybody. So thank you very much for joining us on our little adventure. It's been really great having you all with us. You guys are absolutely magnificent. And I hope you have an amazing week further. I'll be back on Friday when we will be taking on the army ants in the next mission of Empires of the Undergrowth. So until next time, everybody, stay safe. I'll see you all soon. Bye.